Is this Pikachu? You've been touching buttons again? No? Good. It's just starting off with a little joke. Hi there, it's 3 p.m. on Easter Sunday. But guess what? Off the bat, this is pre-recorded because it's Easter, and I have a work-life balance to balance. But guess what? I bring some coffee. Enjoy your happy Easter. How are you? The only thing I'll say about the other thing is that if your birthday fell on Easter Sunday, would still celebrate your birthday too. And you won't have to worry about any of this sharing and shenanigans until 2086. That's when the next time in the statistical probability amplitude that the 31st of March will be Easter Sunday. Again, I looked it up on the internet, of course. Here we are, brought together here on the internet. It is the Sunday new comic book release review day. What the hell are we going on about, Pikachu? We're going on about something, I'll tell you that much. I read a shitload of comics this week. I bought some, too. Oh, boy, we're going to play What's in the Bag, but I need to put them in there. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? I forgot a bag, so I had to buy a new bag. So here you go. More paper products bought at retail. There you go. Look at that. We got comic books that we bought this week that we're going to be talking about. Talking about comics! Actually, I have to work on my voice a bit more and become a bit more of an ASMR presence here on the internet. When it comes to outrage culture, I don't want to get overexcited or be interpreted as being one of the malicious malcontents of the internet due to allegiances and associations and adjacencies, one could say, and your amazing amount of t-shirts and copious amounts of content. How's that? You think I got a future in this? We just broke 1,400 subscribers. Thank you so very much. I'm blessed, honored, grateful. Thank you. If you found this show through Incelcast, the MGTOW Morning Show, welcome. We talk about comic books here twice a week. Sundays, we do reviews of all the new comic books and maybe others that we've read this week. And then on Wednesdays, like Wednesday, 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern, we preview this week's new releases. It's Wednesday. It's the traditional new comic book day. And that's when I go to my LCS, my local comic book shop. And that's where I pick up, I finally got a pull list. Because, just that in itself is another conversation for another day. And how are you doing? I hope you're doing awesome. This is you've come to the Comics Talk with Reverend Sully, your dojo for tactical and practical spirituality. It's also home of the Incelcast at the MGTOW Morning Show, which is all clickbait, and it's nothing but good intentions, trying to, one, debunk and take the piss out of people who use that word, and two, it's about gratitude and blessings. And making a gratitude list and how positive energy starts from within. And when you have it, you can you're like sun and sunshine, and you can do nothing but share the light and the warmth once you reach that state. And I want to share that with you. I really do. I mean, I suffer from the chronic mopies, chronic angries, and the chronic lonelies, and I have all my life. And, I've conquered them as much as I can. Seriously. And I am the gatekeeper. I'm not going to let them in anymore. I'm going to run my anger and not let my anger run me. Isn't that wonderful? It starts from within, and I got that, and I want to share it with you. So you can find that we have a copious amount of spiritual self-help kind of material out there in its own podcast form and the playlist. So check it out. It's what became Incelcast, but that's just clickbait. That's me having fun with my savage wit and sense of humor. You know, I got to do something with it, you know? Why not? But we come here twice a week for the Church of Comic Books for love and our love of this hobby. I've had a lifelong love of comic books. I'm half a century old now. And for most of that time, my nose has been buried in a funny book, you know, and it's continued all my life. It's been a constant all my life. And it's been a real blessing, not a bane. And say what you will about culture, say what you will about creators who judge you and block you on Twitter for no other reason than they think you're stinky and you follow the wrong people or you're on a group block list. You know, and be wary about spending your money with people like that. Or your mind space. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had a huge digital pirate chest this week. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 DC comics I read this week. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 Marvel comics this week. And I read a bunch of Image comics too. Under York #1, I read Savage Dragons 269. I read the Local Man Bad Girls one shot. Let's see, Feral #1, Dead Lucky #12, something I've never read before. So I read a bunch of Image comics, and I bought 2 of them. We'll get to them when we get to the what's in the bag? What's in the bag? What's in the bag? What's in the fucking bag? What's in the bag? Oh no! Don't go there. I have never had to watch that movie ever again. I saw that movie once, and it's like, I'm done. Schindler's List, never have to watch that again. Boxing Helena, never have to watch that again. Saving Private Ryan, never have to watch that again. Great movies. For me, they got no rewatchability. Really. But yeah, those, and then, out of all those comic books, I bought a bunch. One from last week. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 new releases, plus something from last week that was a suggestion from one of the staff members. It ended up being really, really good. So let's get to it. We're going to get down to reviewing some comic books. Let's start with the DC books that we read this week. Let's lead it off alphabetically from the backward to the Z to A. Penguin, #8 by Tom King. Very decent. I liked it. This is like the only Tom King book I've ever really, really, really liked. Because he's working with this is his territory. Seriously, this is Tom King land. It's the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, gangster of Gotham City, rival to Two-Face, Joker. Was it the Falcone family? Or is it the Bertinelli family? I forget. There's so many. Or is it the Sidonuses? Who definitely Roman Sidonus. You know what I mean? It's Penguin and the DCU, and it's got everything you could ever expect from in a Tom King book. Like 9-panel grids, lots of talking, and really, really disposable, cruel use of the action figures around you. I wonder if Danger Street #12 kissed and made everything better. Was there like some kind of Deus Ex Machina, or is there something, or was there a happily ever after? I don't know. I wasn't into Danger Street, but I'm the Penguin though. Because it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's gritty. It's got noir tones. It's supposed to be violent. They're supposed to be like, dead minion and henchmen. And it's cruel. And that fits Tom King. And so he's doing very well. We did The Flash #7 by Cy Spurrier. And that, he's got a new artist for that too. It's, yes, I'll start at the first page. Perez. It's so much technobabble that it turns into gobbledygook. There's so much modern purple. It's like Twin Peaks or so. I mean, I don't like the new art. I mean, at least the Mike Deodato line work was so clean and tight. And this is a bit cartoony. And it's still got a lot of the same digital malarkey going on. I'll say something positive about it. I'm liking the Max Mercury Impulse B story. I'm liking that a lot because that goes back 25 years or so. That goes back to Impulse. Mark Waid and Humberto Ramos had a Flash spinoff title called Impulse. It was the adventures of Bartholomew Allen, grandson of Barry Allen and Iris West. He's from the 31st century. And he's a future kid having to spend time in the 21st century. And he's got such a short attention span from being from the future. And just has to slow down, and he'll be a great Flash one day. But so it's like he's had this like mentor relationship and had a foster home with Max Mercury and with Jay Garrick and Joan Garrick as well. And I've always really liked Max Mercury and Bart Allen together. Wow, there's no credits in this book. It doesn't say Cy Spurrier. It doesn't say the art. It only says that in the cover. It says Perez is the artist, but it doesn't say, whatever. What is next on our list? But that's Flash 7 for you. It's kind of a huge miss. It's so much. It's just, I don't know. Power Girl #7. Teeny Howard, Marguerite Sauvage. Not made for me. And maybe it could be like I said, this could be made into a Tonkabon format. Maybe this be sold on Scholastic. Well, they already cover that market, apparently. Yeah, I mean, then we have Harley Quinn #38, again by Teeny Howard. Is that how it went? Wait a second. Am I wrong there? Let me see. Power Girl. Let's see. Stephanie Williams and Marguerite Sauvage. Not to be confused with Stephanie Phillips. Or is there another Williams? Am I wrong here? It just starts off with Leah Williams. So it's not Stephanie Williams. It's Leah Williams. See, I mean, read your credits. Get to know your storytellers. You know, if you're going to, you know, give feedback and be what we say critical, you know what I mean? Let's just not just brushing broad strokes especially about broads. But this has got to be my favorite issue with this squad. Because it's a cartoony-ish version of Marguerite Sauvage does a lot more photorealistic and a lot tighter lines, and so here she gets to really cut loose a bit with the whole fantasy world. Like Kara, Supergirl and Power Girl are sucked into a Dungeons and Dragons fantasy world, and they have no powers, but they're still themselves, you know, and they're on a rescue mission to find all the other kids that got sucked into this magic game that have to be the slave and the slave workforce of the demonic demoness who is roped them all in or something. There's a couple of cute jokes. There's a good boob joke that's directed at Power Girl and that works. You know, so this isn't all that bad. All right, it's just it's this style. It's like Marguerite Sauvage is like really, you know, this is her anime kind of tribute maybe, because her usual style is a bit more tighter, a bit more photo realistic. It looks like, you know, like fashion drawings, you know, over, and this went really cartoony. But, you know, hats off to her. You know, I mean, that's you experimented with your style and storytelling in this one, and you know, this one lands for me. It wins. One that didn't, though, was Harley Quinn number 38. I'll tell you that much. Usually the backup feature is, you know, my favorite part, but this is this Teenie Howard? And I mean, the art is kind of, it's just like, it's Harley's birthday. And yeah, Teenie Howard, Nacho Bustos for the art. Ben Abernathy, still the group editor. Now this has the Bat logo on its cover. Yeah, so I'm just reading the credits from the splash page. And it's Harley's birthday. And all the girls are there, and all the familiars, and it's not made for me, I guess. I mean, Amazon's Attack is the same kind of thing, but this one was done by Josie Campbell, who is taking over Shazam from Mark Waid and Dan Mora later this week on issue 10 of Shazam. It's Josie Campbell comes on, and this is the last issue of this mini of Amazon Attacks for it has all the backup players in Wonder Woman. It's a Wonder Woman universe story. Wonder Woman, has her own characters, her own family, one could say, especially family. She's got Hippolyta, her mother. She's got Nubia, her sister. And that's her sister's sister, not saying that how people of color say it. I mean, because she's a person of color. I'm meaning this because she's actually Hippolyta's daughter as well as Diana. And not just the whole Amazonian Themysciran thing of sister, being part of the same tribe. No. Nubia is Diana's sister. That is that. And Nubia is also queen of the Amazons, while Hippolyta is currently dead. Killed by Artemis, another Amazon, who's also, there's Artemis, yeah. And then there's Wonder Girl, Yara Flor. There's Wonder Girl, Cassie Sandsmark. There's Wonder Girl, Donna Troy. Then there's all these other characters. And then there's Mary Marvel now, too, who is, apparently her gods are the Amazonian gods now. And so that she's got a connection to Themyscira through her magic word Shazam, which is not this, it's comic book stuff, okay? But it finishes up the story. It's all based upon Tom King's current Wonder Woman run, where Amazons are basically thrown out of the United States of America because of this thing, Tom King stuff. There's literally someone called the patriarchy. That he's the big bad. He's got the lasso of lies. Like, so you think it's like flip Wonder Woman thematically upside down, and what do we have? A decrepit old man with a white man. The whiteness is taking over. No. There's Alan Scott, Green Lantern #5. Great art by Cian Tormey. I gotta say that Cian Tormey's art has been spectacular. All 5 issues of this so far. I can't buy it because of you, Tim Sheridan. You blocked me on Twitter for being part of a comic book conversation about this very comic book. Wasn't toxic, but no, I was on a group list. All right, and that's how you operate. So you're an asshole. You're an asshole. That's right. You're an asshole. You're an asshole. Yes, yes. You're an asshole. You're an asshole. That's right. You're an asshole. You're an asshole. Hey, now, hey. You've been to the grape. You've been to the chest. Now that you know what you are, you're an asshole. That's from Frank Zappa. Broken Hearts Are for Assholes from Chic Your Booty, one of my favorite Frank Zappa albums. I get nothing against Alan Scott being gay. I don't give a shit. Really, like, I'm of this, this generation of, kids brought up on PBS since the 70s. I mean, I just think there's more people like me out there. It's just like that, I'm completely nonplussed. Like, huh? All right. Gay people. Yeah, sure. That's gay people. That's it. Enough said. We're in America. It's just being American, gee. It's a paint by numbers superhero story by Tim Sheridan. It's exactly what I feared it would be at the beginning. If I earned any block from Tim Sheridan predicting, I made the prediction that that the Red Lantern was going to be his a romance, like his ex or something, and this whole Spy Who Loved Me thing. And I was right about that. And I even said, but I said, like, this could be a hack move. Not just, like, insisting that Alan Scott's always been gay, because you're basing that on either Doomsday Clock #7 or Infinite Frontier #1, right? That's the, that's the whole, because this is this Alan Scott. We're not, the other Alan Scott doesn't exist anymore. All the culminations of all the Alan Scotts for all the stories, he's here, right now. This is probably what he thinks, yeah. You know what I mean? And that's how it's being presented to us. Same with Batman, though. Same with Superman. Same with Power Girl, who is apparently now Dr. Paige Stengman, not Karen Starr. Yeah. Happy Easter. Have you heard? I'm not a Christian. I grew up Irish Catholic, But yeah, I got Easter plans, and so that's why we're not having the live cast today, because it's Easter Sunday. But I'm like, we still got to have a show, so the show must go on. But today it has to be pre-recorded. I'm sorry about that. Usually 3 p.m. on Sundays, we've been doing the live cast. And because it's fun, for no other reason. I mean, seriously, I get 70 people show up for to watch that, and I end up getting 2.5 public view hours because of the way YouTube is. I mean, the premiere that's broadcast on YouTube with the StreamYards software does not count as downloaded video content to be shown for public view hours. So the first 50 views I get in all of those hours that all of these live casts have generated doesn't matter. You know, I'm lucky, you know, and I'm still going for my 4,000 hours. So wow, it's just, that was a real kick in the pants to learn. Seriously, if you're wondering who's on my shirt, well, my Red Sox jersey, see, it's baseball season. It's baseball season. I love baseball. I use baseball as an analogy a lot of the times for comic books, and you know, I'll probably end up talking about this more on Wednesday. But you know, we say about rock stars. No, we have all stars. We have like, really good players, like superstars. That's why they are superstars. We don't have rock stars on a baseball team. You could, I mean, like they don't. It doesn't really work. That's like a personality thing. But like we've seen what we've done to our rock stars. Look at what they did to Warren Ellis. He was a real rock star. Okay, and those were all consensual adult agreements. And everyone involved, because I was part of that, like on the periphery, looking from the outside in to that ribald body, B-A-W-D-Y, body, ribald, R-I-B-A-L-D, ribald. Look them up, you know, RTFM. That was this culture, and that was the shenanigans that went on in that culture. And Warren Ellis was a rock star. He had one in every city when he was on tour. That's a rock star. And then came retroactive consent, and now he can't be published anymore as a rock star comic book writer. I mean, Ed Piskor and Cameron Stewart, they're not rock stars, maybe, but they tried to do that too. I mean, to be like Ted Nugent or you know, just that's just wrong. You know what I mean? There's you know, advantage taking, I guess. You know, but look what happens to when you have that mentality of rock star. It's better to have the mentality of the baseball player. This is Pedro Martinez, one of the starting pitchers of the Red Sox, World Series champion, perennial all-star, mean slider. Called it the backbreaker, the bender. It would just drop and just right below you. He's just Pedro Martinez. Goofball. Complete goofball on the bench. You get him on that mound. There's nobody so serious in this world. Love it. Love that. Love baseball. So yeah, more about that on Wednesday. There was Batman Superman, World's Finest, number 25. I got a copy waiting for me, I think, with Yule Carter of Fantastic Comics of Berkeley, California, with the William Shatner, variant cover. Yeah, and this is just some, you know, I don't know. I've lost my steam on this title. It's got this is like what, the first Joker Luthor team up again, and yeah, I'm a little over this title. It's got nothing to do with Wade's mouth or politics or anything. It's just more of like, I don't know. I'm officially bored with it. Sorry, but I'm going to get the William Shatner variant cover anyway, because, you know, am I a Star Trek fan? I don't know. Is my underwear exposed? These are my drawers. Get it? Let's be briefs here. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, number 7. Interesting. It's all right. And it's going to collect very nicely. I think it's even in continuity. Yeah, I think it is, because it says so on LeagueOfComicGeeks.com. When I look at it, it says Prime Earth 0. Earth Prime 0. Prime Earth Zero. Prime Earth Zero. They do that on purpose, I think. Be like, we've already used these words. No, we're going to use them again because it's just going to wind up all the old fans. And I can't have my Keurig K-Cup without the brewed throughout with the fanboy tears. Ha ha! Where does he come up? Where does he get such wonderful toys? What else do we have this week, Alan Scott? But yeah, it was perfectly serviceable as a superhero comic book. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Just there is no winning or losing when it comes to being a fan. There just is enjoying being satisfied. And I would have bought it. Tim Sheridan, I would have bought your magazine if you weren't such an asshole. Sorry, kid. I mean, if this is, I'm not abuse. If you can't, if you think this is abuse, how are you gonna on its are you gonna fold when you're on a sit? Now, that's from Glenn Ross. Please don't feel abused, Mr. Sheridan. You must have thin skin. And I don't want to contribute to your suffering. Good sir. You're a good friend to Jeff Johns and Jeremy Adams, and I'd hate to be blocked by either one of them for association with you of negativity. Seriously, it would break my heart. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, Jeremy Adams, I follow him on Twitter. He's a great guy. But he's like, here's me and Tim Sheridan. I'm like, don't bother. Saying anything well, I can't because he blocked me. Sorry. I'm giving you the same fairness you gave me. Isn't that true? Or should I give you more fairness? Should I give you more respect than you give me? Is that how it works? Is it? Batman Brave and the Bold number 11 was interesting. It's an ongoing anthology. It does say in the credits page that its group editor is Ben Abernathy. So this must be one of the last books of his to, editors. Ben Mears, Chris Rosa, assistant editor James Reed, group editor Ben Abernathy. This is Batman Brave and the Bold, which is the... it started off as being a Tim... it's 70 pages. I believe it goes for $8.99 an issue or something. It's just they're massive, filled with story and anthology. There's a couple of interesting books in here. They have Batman Mother's Day Part 2, written and drawn by Carl Gershel, and with Norm Rapamon inks on a few pages, which is nice. Yet for me, it's confusing because it's is it set in the multiverse? I don't think this can't be canon, or is there? Do you know more about the pre Dick Grayson Robin than I do? Wasn't there a girl Robin before Dick Grayson, like a Zero Robin? If Dick Grayson was the first Robin, Jason Todd was the second Robin, Tim Drake was the third Robin. Stephanie Brown was the fourth Robin. You see where I'm going with this, right? Would this girl be the Zero Robin? And because it's a girl Robin, and it's set early in Batman's career too. He's visually younger. It's supposed to be. There are cues here that it's set in a long ago. And it begs to ask, how long has Batman's mission been ongoing? This is the comic book shop style conversations that we congregate here at this very channel that we choose. I tried for some alliteration there. How long has Batman been? How old is Batman? Post Infinite Frontier, post Death Metal. Didn't he age and die a few times in that? Something I wasn't tuned into Death Metal. I was not tuned in to Infinite Frontier. I came back to DC. I got a bald spot right here. I got a bald spot in my DC from Heroes in Crisis to Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, a couple of years. A lot happened. There's The Sweet Science by Christos Gage. There's Artemis, The Power Within Part 2 by Delia Dawson and Serge Acuna, which is not that bad. I mean, I like Artemis. Hot redhead who vied with Diana for the title of Wonder Woman, was Wonder Woman for a while. I mean, just like, I don't know. There's Private Stein, written by Michael Conrad, whose wife, Becky Cloonan, thank you, blocked me on Twitter, and so I can buy his stuff. I'm not buying this one, but sorry. It's but Private Stein is a Sergeant Rock story, and it's got supernatural elements to it, and it really works, and it's really well done, and I liked it a lot. I was a huge The Sweet Science. That was this was a Bat Lash story by Christos Gage and Danny Kim with art. So with Bat Lash and Sergeant Rock, they were huge parts of my growing up with comic books at a very young age. My uncle got all of these war comics and Western comics. Seriously, my dad's youngest brother. And so I got all of his hand-me-down toys and comic books a lot of the times. So it's just, I grew up on Sergeant Rock, Haunted Tank, GI Combat, Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, Unknown Soldier, Enemy Ace, and Batlash, and Jonah Hex. Just like all, that's 8 DC comic books, and all of them filled with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez drawings of the superhero pantheon on advertisements for other things in that united, beautiful heyday of the Style Bible and of his Style Bible. So yeah, I liked three and a half of these 5 stories in this anthology magazine, and this random Batman Brave and the Bold number 11, which does not have a Tom King story. My favorite 2 DC comics of the week are Green Arrow number 10 by Joshua Williamson, and this is a superhero. Green Arrow is for the DC superhero comic book fan. This is the comic that is made for you. Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville, was not made for you. Harley Quinn might not be made for you. I'm not trying to speak like Frost either, or carry that kind of stupid, condescending thing. I'm just more of like, I'm a lifelong comic book fan. I think I know it's geared towards me and what's not. And Poison Ivy, thankfully, is geared towards me. Birds of Prey, luckily, is geared towards me. Is Power Girl. I don't know. But here we go. But Joshua Williamson's Green Arrow number 10 most definitely is. It's a rescue mission. It just is. And it just got everybody. It's got everyone in here except for Dinah. These are all the arrows show up. It starts off with Ollie and Connor Hawk, his son. And is Connor Hawk half African American now? Or is he half Asian? Or is he African American Asian through his mother? And because Connor Hawk seems to... there's kind of this pin the box checking on Connor Hawk. And some of it had to do with asexuality. That he doesn't prefer a romantic partner because of his spiritual upbringing. Huh? I mean, there's a lot of pin the boxes on Connor. There's a lot of that going on, and but it starts off with Ollie and his son on a hunt looking for Roy Harper, the first Speedy, and along the way, they come across everyone in his life in a way. There is like all of his sidekicks, especially all the girls. So all the girls show, like Arrowette, Red Arrow, Red Canary, who's new, but also Second Speedy, Mia Dearden. And she came from that Judd Winnick era. And the Phil Hester. I loved those comic books. That was some really good Green Arrow. Green Arrow has had so many runs over the years. It's really one of the superheroes that pulls together the DCU. And he, as we were saying earlier about families, Wonder Woman has a family. Well, guess what? Green Arrow has always had a family. It started with Roy Harper, his ward, Speedy. And then it just began from there. Then in the Silver Age, him and Dinah, the Black Canary, were romantically linked. At the beginning, she didn't want his attention. In the beginning, Dinah was from Earth 2. And she lost her husband, Larry Lance, a Gotham City detective. He died in the and she came to Earth 1 for a fresh start. And so she switched from the Justice Society of America to the Justice League of America. And she caught, Ollie's eye over time. And she actually was like, no, I can't start a relationship. I'm still brokenhearted. I'm a widow. And then eventually they got together. And they've been that way ever since. And that's the abridged version of Black Canary and Green Arrow. But there's Arrowette. And there was Second Speedy. Yeah, Mia Dearden. Who was like one of the, and this has always been baked into this stuff too, especially with the writer too. Judd Winnick was great. I think he wrote great superhero stories, but he also found a way to have their cake and eat it too. Put in some kind of messaging agenda, in there. If it wasn't his work on Green Lantern with Terry Berg, the art assistant who gets gay bashed, it was Mia Dearden and his Green Arrow who was living with HIV. And able to. And, yeah, I mean, seriously, I love Green Arrow. And this was a decent issue, so, I'm still not buying it, though. I'm sorry. I'm buying a ton of Joshua Williamson, don't worry. But my pick of the week for DC Comics is Batman, The Dark Age. It's book 1, written by Mark Russell with great art by the All Reds. And this is just an interesting kind of multiverse, Elseworlds take on Batman. If Batman was a juvenile delinquent and had to do some hard time early in his life. Indeed. And those are the DC Comics this week. What's next? The Marvel Comics. Let's see. I also and there was Detective Comics 1083. I thought it was fabulous. And it's the Batman title you should be reading. Especially since like Batman from Zdarsky and Jimenez comes out this week. And it looks great, but it's got no tension. It's got no stakes. And where is this story going? It's going to the summer event. That's all. That's the only place this storyline is going. And over on Detective Comics, you have Ram V with this really slow burn, really interesting, good art that you can get into. Even if it has some digital assistance. Sure, that I'm a big decrier of that. There's been some digital assistance so hard in the paint that it looks like paint. It looks like it's got to be some kind of technique. It wasn't done in oils or in acrylics on a canvas prepped with white gesso. It's a digital trick to make it look that way. I get it. Still, I liked a lot of that art regardless. Hey, sometimes if it's done well, it's got some nuance to it. It had a little flair to it. There you go. There's a good call for whatever. Let's see. So we're going to the Marvel books. We're going to the show. We're gonna see the Spider-Man and doopa doopa doo. Oh gosh. What was it? Let's see. Okay. Let's go down the list. X-Men 97, issue number 1. It's just to go along with the X-Men 97, number 1. Yeah, it's written by Steve Fox. Pretty much one of the best things I felt he's written, and it's because it's a bit divorced from the Marvel 616 Terra Firma, and this is set specifically in the animated universe of X-Men 97, which might or might not be set in the same universe of the original Fox X-Men the animated series from 1992. You know, it might be a divergent place. I'm not sure. If someone watches the show, let me know in the comments or in the chat. But I found it to be it was fun. The art was really good. I mean, just it was pretty concise. I liked how it uses expository language, like Berserker Rage, and like adamantiums, and just like, you know, Wolverine, stay in formation. Just like this, such. There's very distilled and iconic, and I'm here for that. There was X-Force number 50 by Benjamin Percy, finishing up this volume of X-Force. X-Force 50, Fall of X. So everything in this happens before not only Rise of the Powers of 10, Fall of the House of X, but before Wolverine Sabretooth War. And it was really, really good up until the last page, where it just lands so flatly. Maybe it's just like that's supposed to be the denouement of it all, and I read it wrong. Because overall, it's a pretty good story, because it's Beast, Henry McCoy, and he's done a lot of dirty deeds for the Black Ops group known as X-Force, and in the service of the mutant island nation of Krakoa, and especially of its defense, and to be proactively destructive and murderous in order to, you know, about mutant rights, and and he's confronted with a younger version of himself. A lot of these things are regenerations and clones, and there's one clone of Beast left, and he's been downloaded with a version of himself from when he was back with the New Defenders, when he was a bit more happier and ideological, and so it's like if a younger version of yourself, if a 20-year-old version of me popped up, and I had a conversation with him, if I was about to do something bad, what would he do? And it brings in Simon Williams, the Power Man. Wonder Man. Who's always been one of Hank McCoy's best friends. And so I like the story, the resolution, but then after the climax of it, there's just this one last page where it's just like, and here's how it ends. And X-Force will always be needed. And here, what we do in the shadows stays in the shadows. And here, what we do. And you have like enemies and friends and allies all around the table. Black Tom, Omega Red, Quentin Quire. You know what I mean? The three most unscrupulous people at this table. You got Sage, the mutant. She's like a mutant computer, kind of. How would you define Sage's power set and her mutant ability? You got both Wolverines. You got Domino. You got Peter Rasputin, Colossus. You know, who's like usually the moral compass of any team, but lately he's just done so many dirty deeds. But at the end of it, it lands so flatly. It really does. flat landing for a really decent title. Ben Percy, I think. See, wow, the ongoing conversation. Where would Ben Percy be in my starting rotation if I treat the bullpen of Marvel writers like the pitchers of a baseball team? Let me know. Wolverine 46. Speaking of Ben Percy once again. And this is a parental advisory, not for kids. It's part 6. We're split in the middle of our 10-part story. And this uses that as its theme. So there's a dual narrative. Every panel has an almost identical parallel next to it. And it's Sabretooth using Quentin Quire's head in a box. And Quentin has no willpower, I guess. So now Logan is under Quentin Quire's Omega level telepath control. And they have to, so Sabretooth needs not just to kill Logan and shame Logan on his birthday, but he needs to use Logan for one last kind of one last caper. And it follows a caper that they did way back on Team X when they were teammates. And it has to keep Wolverine thinking he's remembering this mission. And so they basically Victor Creed has to recreate a beat by beat Team X caper that they went on decades and decades ago in order to use Logan as his cat's paw in order to accomplish the mission, while the Exiles are dodging Stark Sentinels. And it's my least favorite single part of the story so far, of something that I've been raving about. And the Laura Kinney stuff is the best story. The B story was better than the A story, and I appreciate and respect what went on in the issue today, in this issue with the theme and the breakdown of it and the storytelling of it. I mean, it was audacious, interesting, and it doesn't fail with brutality and bloodshed and just berserker rage, and it's okay. So, but it's just halfway there, and it sets up what we know what's going to happen at the end of it with those issue 50 solicits, right? Oh boy, this was spoiled, and but it's it was all part of Victor's plan. The rest would be spoiling it. I don't want to do that to you. Ultimate Spider-Man number 3. Let's put a pin in that. Thunderbolts 4 of 4 by Lansing and Kelly. It's actually the best issue in the series. It lands the story. You could probably skip the first 3 issues of this and just maybe enjoy this one floppy a bit. It's actually got a nice twist of an ending. I like the shade that Bucky throws at Victor Von Doom at the end of this. It's really nice. I like that. And so, we've been saying WTF for 3 issues now, but it landed. Yeah. Superior Spider-Man 5. It's fine. I mean, it's Dan Slott. You, Dan Slott. And you're blocking the ass. But I won't buy it. But I'll read this, and I'll give you I'll give you credit where credit's due, bud. And don't bro me. I fuck off, man. I mean, what happened to people being people? Yeah. Maybe I should ring up a convention and ask them to get rid of you, so it makes me feel safe, because you put me on a list, and yeah, I don't feel safe around you. You use lists of people. I might have to talk to the conventions about going to conventions with like people like you. I mean, should I feel safe around people like you? All right. There was Star Wars Obi-Wan 6 of 6. Supposed art by Salvador Larroca. It looks like he was just tracing over stills of the TV show itself. I always liked adaptations, especially comic book adaptations, because, that offers a different camera in a way. And I was saying, like, good things about this book about, like, well, maybe it's because I'm just so far removed from the luggage of that show last year with the social justice engineering and the claims of all this racisms against Moses Ingram, the actress who played Reva. And it was just, wouldn't that been that would have been a good time to just put all those on the screen or with the names involved. I mean, especially if they're not anonymous. I bet the chances are that anyone who would, make such a thing would stay anonymous and hide behind. And especially if they had like low, like if they had like 3 subscribers or something like that, and all these numbers after their actual Twitter handle, not the screen name. You know what I mean? And if they're real people, why don't we just be like, hey, why are you saying such shit to Moses Ingram? She's showing up, she's doing the job, and she actually did the job kind of well, I guess. But being so far divorced from all the hubbub and all the drama, the luggage that weighs down that experience, came a decent Obi-Wan story. I enjoyed it overall. And but I am a little disappointed with the art. It's uncanny how photorealistic this stuff is, and I've seen Salvador Larroca's work in the past. He's an X-Men artist. He's got good form and technique. There was Spider-Punk #2 from Cody Ziegler. It was. Hey, Tonkabon format. Scholastic. Yeah, hopefully this was made for it. We come to Rise of the Powers of 10, issue #3, written by Kieran Gillen. So this is one of the big X-Men stories. This and the Fall of the House of X are the X-Men stories to be reading on the way to the end of the Krakoan Age. And then, so you have, Jerry Duggan sharing pitching duties. You have this 1-2 combination of Jerry Duggan, Kieran Gillen. Both of are the starters of this X team, pretty much. And it's Charles's simple decision kind of thing that he's been counting on the entire time. Right before he's got to kill Moira right before her X gene turns on at puberty. And it comes down to that moral decision and having to own his actions. And it was interesting. The morality play stuff, you know what I mean? You have to go back in time. You can fix all of this by assassinating this person responsible for all the travesties in history. Wow. Wrestle with that. And science fiction is a good place to put that kind of argument. The whole time travel, thing. Let's see. Predator. Last Hunt, #2. It's is this comic book very necessary? I mean, for whom? I hope all the Predator fans who follow the what came before this, that this makes sense to the readers of that title. I hope that, that's what I hope you come and get it. It's cheeseburger fans. We have cheeseburgers tonight. Yeehaw! I love cheeseburgers. I am not knocking a cheeseburger. I would knock one back. I often do. Actually, I eat cheeseburgers a lot. I like cheeseburgers. Miles Morales, number 18. So yeah, Cody Ziegler once again. And this is actually legacy number 300. So congratulations, Miles Morales. It's Retribution Part 2. Rabble has been an increasingly dangerous thorn in Spider-Man's side. The Technopath was already a formidable foe who had uncovered Miles' secret identity. But since her battle with Spider-Man, her powers have become unpredictable, and she's become less and less stable. Despite it all, Miles has resolved to help her. But first, he must find her. With his friends Ms. Marvel and clone brother Shift on his team, it's time to put his detective skills to use and track her down through the villains she supplied tech to in the past. Unbeknownst to Spidey and crew, Rabble's already been found by the Cape Killer's leader, Agent Gao. Her vendetta against the vigilantes of New York City intensified during the gang war. And with the repeal of the Powers Act causing her team to be shut down, she's desperate enough to get help from Spider-Man's worst enemy. That is the info dump page on the credits page of Miles Morales, issue number 18, legacy number 300, Retribution, Part 2. Yeah, so it's Miles doing Miles things, hanging out with Kamala Khan, and they're old friends. And it's okay. It tries to get funny booky in a way, like, and I'm just breezing through it again. Did I read it all? I don't think I did. I think it bored me a little bit, and I tuned away. I remember starting this, but I do not remember finishing it. Oh, is that Kate Bishop? No, that's Taskmaster, the male Taskmaster of the comics. Not there's 64 pages in this issue. That's why. Gee, I couldn't pay attention to this thing. What's his cover price? It's $8.99, and it's 64 pages of story and art. Hey, that could be. Is that a? Wow, is that a value? Is that a bargain? For 20 pages, it's usually $4.99. I'm not doing math. It's my day off. It's Easter Sunday. Have you heard? Jackpot and Black Cat number 1. Okay, that happened. I read it. You don't want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about it? She's got rocket boobs. What? Rocket boobs. Rocket boots. Jackpot has rocket boots. Did you think I said boobs? I wish. But, yeah, she can fly now. She can fly now? She can fly now. And MJ can fly. MJ is flight capable. Because her Jackpot costume has rocket boots. That's how she gets from one panel to the other across the city. Oh boy. Let's see. And but I did read it, and interesting. Yeah. Who wrote this? Celeste Bronfman wrote this. And yeah, it's team up, hijinks, girl stuff, gay stuff. And that's it. And Paul's a backstreet driver, which he should be. Thank goodness. Hulk number 10 by Philip Kennedy Johnson, with fill-in art by Danny Earls. Not my cup of tea for Danny Earls' art. It completely lacked hand-drawn onomatopoeia. And Nick Klein is exceptionally good at that. Because, I feel that Hulk is a very visceral and loud comic book. There's a big spectrum of gross and destructive sound effects that you could be using in a Hulk funny book. But still, it's Philip Kennedy Johnson. It's 3 issues set in New Orleans with that kind of Cajun flavor of intrigue and supernatural meets and monsters. This is about monsters. All right. This is Hulk versus monsters. It's pretty fun. And it's very Anne Ricey, of course. Well, it's set in New Orleans. And the girl keeps getting into trouble. And Hulk has to keep, saving her. And that's how sometimes that's simple storytelling. Here you go. Here's our adventure. This is 3 issues. This is 3 acts. This is Act 2. And yeah, we get 1 more issue of this. And hopefully we go back to Nick Klein. And I'm not bagging on Danny Earls. I mean, I like his line work. It's very kind of like R. Crummy in a way. Not Crumby, as in Crummy art, like R. Crumb -Y. Like in that, like there's it's got a feel to it. Something I didn't have a feel to whatsoever was Jonathan Hickman's and Valerio Schiti's Gods, Gods number 6. This is wrapping up, thankfully, in a couple of issues. It didn't stick. At least I had something good to say about this. At least Jonathan Hickman is using new characters to put through the ringer like this instead of torturing and maiming existing characters. And I think I congratulate him on that. He has Win. He's got Aiko Maki, Mia de Maria, and just all this stuff. And magic. And magic has consequences. And this is supposed to be about the magic world and and it's about, I think it's the balancing forces of the powers that be and the natural orders of things. And you have the avatars of 2 of them. Win, he's a new character. He kind of looks like Stephen Strange a little bit, And then and he's the avatar of the powers that be. And there's Aiko, and she is the centaur. I mean, she's one of 100 avatars of the natural order of things. And they were married for a while until they had to disclose each other's true natures, and then they had to stick to their sides. And they had a separation. And so, by the end of this one, maybe it's the end of Act 2, maybe it's the beginning of Act 3, maybe they're coming back together. So that's an interesting thing at least to get and to glean about the story while reading it and going along with it. I've read all 6 issues of this. Fabulous artwork, great paneling, great, camera work, and visual storytelling. There's just a lot of words. There's a lot of blah blah, and a lot of magic and a lot of. But like I said, at least Hickman's doing something new here, and that's what he does. He just, he builds things. Useful structures that can be used later too. Like if you look at the Children of the Vault and the City, they've been those, aren't those really Grant Morrison ones, to be honest? The Children of the Vault came from Hickman in Ultimate Fantastic Four, but the City, didn't that come from Grant Morrison in New X-Men? Get me on that one, too. I love... These are the comic book shop style conversations that we tune in for here at the Comic Stock with Reverend Sully and yourself. This one is pre-recorded. This is the Easter Sunday special. We do we do reviews of new comic books on every Sunday on a 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern live stream. Today, though, it is pre-recorded. Just to let you know, once again, if you tuned in a little late, it's Easter Sunday, and we have work-life balances. So this is, it's Easter Sunday. I'm with family, and also with you guys. So hopefully, I'm on my iPhone, knee deep in the live chat right now, and I'll be tuning in and contributing to the conversation as much as I can. Basically, I'm spending Easter Sunday with family, and I'm spending Easter Sunday with you, and that's a really nice thing. And because we have this this connectivity here in our culture, at our coffee table too. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa, whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today. That's right. Indeed. And let's see. Yeah, God's Sick. So I said a bunch of nice things about it, about a comic book that I'm kind of bored of. It would never grab me from the beginning, but I got a lot of respect for it. Okay. Edge of the Spider-Verse was fun. Daredevil number 7 was my favorite issue in this series so far. It was Wolverine versus Daredevil this time. Something about the 7 deadly sins, and each one of the sins possesses somebody close to Matt, and tries to supernaturally kind of kill him. And so this one of the 7 sins has possessed Logan, and Logan picks a fight with Matt, and Matt's got on the new white uniform, and I love this outfit, and it's a really decent issue. It's by the numbers superhero story, but it's by the numbers superhero storytelling. Hello, say that 3 times fast, please. Superhero storytelling, superhero storytelling, superhero storytelling. Superhero storytelling, superhero storytelling, superhero storytelling. All right, bigger breaths. Cable number 3 in this Fall of the House of X mini. Yeah, sure. But also, a really decent comic book this week, I felt, was Amazing Spider-Man number 46. It's Legacy number 940. Zeb Wells and Carmen Canero on art. It's like part 2 and a kind of like a deep breath. Okay, I've been following the Zeb Wells Amazing Spider-Man volume here and there. I've read a bunch of them through the digital pirate chests, which is great. Let's see. I got an opinion about Pete and MJ and Paul. Sure, and I think that Pete and MJ should just go and just live life and be happy. Let's see. This is about reassembling the Sinister Six, and it's got great art. Especially Electro is the main villain, and it looks like Electro, and it's classic Electro. It's not Lady Electro. That we can't say Electra because we have an Electra already in Electra Nachos, but Electra is also Daredevil. But don't call her Lady Daredevil. You get at me so far, and it's just like this, like one of these decompression tales where there's a lot of awkwardness between Pete and MJ, which goes a long way in this, and it was fun, and it's just Pete and MJ suiting up and helping out Aunt Anna, who's like locked up in Ravencroft emotional asylum thing. Is that it? Is it Ravencroft? And yeah, it is Ravencroft. Yeah, Ravencroft is the Arkham Asylum of the Marvel Universe, right? Right, I think. And the Raft is like the Iron Heights of the Marvel Universe? Yes, maybe. But it's fun. It was fun. These 2 issues, I think, are just a beat up to breathe. And I think that Zeb Wells has done this before, such as, The Death of Miss Marvel, and then you had somewhere along the line you had Rec Rap, the whole Rec Rap thing, and then you had Gang War, and now you have this, and there was another one before this. It was right before Gang War. Was that Rec Rap? But you had after Peter and the Goblin Spirit, there was another 1 or 2 issues of this lighter stuff, and then it just gets heavy again. And it just seemed maybe that's Zeb Wells's, storytelling method. This is 46 issues of his so far over the past 2 years, I believe, or is it 3? So I think ASM went bi-weekly, and it's $4.99. That's 20 pages of story and of story and art. Great. John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna cover. Again, that's hand art. I love that. And you can tell because how Romita draws that the background buildings are not 3D assets. That's Romita. That's his style. I love that. So I'm here for Romita Jr. and being Amazing Spider-Man is part of that experience, especially over the course of my lifetime. What else? We got a couple of Image comics that we read this week. Under York #1, which is a tale of magical families living underneath Manhattan, is this magical New York space called Under York, and each neighborhood is represented by a different kind of magical tribe. There you have the Voodoo tribe. You have the Celtic tribes of leprechaun magic, of Tierra no. You have I think Native American magics, and so just the 5 neighborhoods. So it adds a kind of Godfather mob family layer to it as well, and it's about the reluctant girl who has to become the girl boss. PDQ pretty darn quickly. So is it? I checked it out. I don't think it's made for me. But magic, people might like it. Sure. Savage Dragon #269 by Eric Larson. This has been going on for a long time, and I remember Eric Larson's line work being a lot finer and a lot more like Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee back in the day, in the late 80s, early 90s, that kind of space. He looks a lot like Frank Miller now, and I dig it. And I dug this issue too. This is the second consecutive issue of Savage Dragon that I've read, and it's over the top. It's hyper sexy and ribald in body. This is an adult magazine. It brings up adult themes, and this isn't for kids, but it's all the same. I've never read it, and so I'm just picking up on this for the first time in my comic book life, and I've seen it on the shelves for the past 30 years. Seriously, and it's I never knew what it was about. I saw the fin and the muscles, and he was a cop, but that was the first Savage Dragon, right? And because there's this it's generational, and I don't know much about its creator beyond the Marvel Image stuff, and but this is it's got wit and it's fun. It was funny. It was unexpected. I was satisfied. I like the art. I like the characters. I like the lampooning of genre, and I liked its savage, ribald, sexy bodiness. BAWD. Y. Body. INESS. Bodiness. Not your, yeah. Body. BAWY. Look it up yourself. Speaking of, Sex Criminals Compendium came out, and that collects all 31 issues. I forgot how much I liked this. I think I stopped about issue 7 or 8 or so, and never finished it. And this is a great opportunity to go back and catch up with Sex Criminals. It's in the trade paperback format at your local comic book shop. Fresh this week. We had Local Man Bad Girls review in Feral #1, and we're putting pins in that. Dead Lucky #12. That was interesting. It was I like it. This is Dead Lucky #12 was a total miss for me. Melissa Flores, art by French Carlo Mango. You know, this might be. It's called The Dead Lucky, and it's about superhero stuff. It's the Image Massive verse, and I feel that any feedback on this would be construed as hostile, toxic, anti-woke, or anti-SJW. And I don't want to contribute to that noise. But I said that out loud, too. It's not made for me. So I hope whomever it's made for comes out and gets it. Especially because it's the last issue. 12 issues. This is bound to get bound and into a collection. And those were just a few of the Image comics I read this week. Now, what's in the bag? We've come this far on a Sunday, on Easter Sunday. What's in the bag? Those were a lot of funny. I read a lot of comic books this week. Well, what did I buy? What did I buy from my local comic book shop? My LCS. What did I buy? Oh, that's T, right? That's S. All right. Sorry. I'm trying to relearn my ASL a little bit, at least the alphabet, because why not? We were in the visual form here. You know, I use my hand. I gesticulate wildly. Books, funny books, floppies, comic books. What's in the bag? Let's see. What did we get? We bought 9 things. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 floppies this week. 6 are from this week. I'm going to lead it off with, this was a suggestion from one of the gals that work at my local comic book shop. And, between Sacrificers and Feral #1, which comes out this week, and also an amazing title that I've just kind of picked up on. It's called Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And it's done in this Richard Scarry type of anthropomorphic bears and animals art, but it's about a serial killer in a small town. And it keeps her secret for years. And then comes another serial killer who makes what they do public in the small town. So I guess it's got like a vibe like Dexter, like the Showtime show Dexter. And it's gone 4 issues so far. And I read the first one. And so there is a cycle. There is an apparent trend, I feel, of anthropomorphic animals or cutesy animals. This is man's best. It's on Boom Studios. It was $4.99. There you go. And this was really fun. And it was like a nice cardstock cover. I mean, one thing I like about all of these Image and independent books, I like the formatting and design of like what you would consider throwaway pages, perhaps the credits page. I like magazine formatting. I like design, page design, and that stuff goes a long way with me. You're arranging information to be enjoyed and to be to be read. These are credits. They're meant to be read. You know, these are the people that built your book. You know, ain't that nice? And the art's really nice, and it's about 3 pets who have been cybernetically enhanced and trained by humans to fight the robot armies that lie out there in outer space. You know? And it ends up being that the three weaponized animals end up having to survive on their own. And it's really good. It's reminiscent of the old Vertigo book from the early 2000s by Grant Morrison, art by Frank Whiteley. It's called We 3. It was a 3-issue Morrison mini masterpiece. And great art by Frank Whiteley. And it is about 3 animals who are cybernetically enhanced by humans, to be weaponized. So this follows that tradition, and it's pretty good sci-fi. It's really good art. I'm looking forward to issue 2. I'm in for this. So this is maybe don't sleep on Man's Best. That's a suggestion from the channel to everyone out there right now. I got Ultimate Spider-Man number 3. That's the regular cover. You can tell from the UPC code, see, 00311. That means it's issue 3. It's cover number 1, and it's its first printing. It's pretty good. I like this. All right, and great panels, great camera work. I keep on calling. I talk about camera work. Look, here's a spoiler. Ain't that cool? Maybe it's a bit. Hopefully, maybe they can make the Spider family a bit like the Incredibles. Maybe they can keep them alive and not be. Spidey's always been a tragic figure, and he's always dealt with his tragedies with humility and respect, and with growth and with resilience. I think he's a lot more emotionally healthier than Bruce Wayne, who has a similar kind of trauma thing. And maybe they'll keep the kids in MJ alive. Maybe there won't be some kind of heroic Uncle Ben-like sacrifice. With great power comes great responsibility. And just look at great punch, great panels. I like this. It's good. It's fun. It's unexpected. I talked about it just right now. We have Feral number 1 from Tony Fleeks and Company, and art by Trish Forstner and Tone Rodriguez. And yeah, like I said, here, let's look at the formatting of this page. It's a magazine. This has been formatted. This has been designed. I like page design. It's nice and simple. And also, look, they've shared with them just ubiquitous @. This could be their X Twitter. This could be is it their Insta? Is it their MySpace? Is it their Friendster? Is it their Blogger? You can find out your own. I love the animation style in this. I love it kind of looks like a Don Bluth movie. I like that. And it's got a good story. And it got me hooked from the beginning. And, I'm allergic to cats. And so it's just like, here I am. Once again, buying a story about cats. There have been so many stories about cats these days. And, but I mean, I think this is really interesting. And I really like the art style, and it's got a good ending. And we'll see you again next month, won't we? We've got, as I was talking earlier, it's on my pull list, and I will continue to buy it. It doesn't matter if I'm dissatisfied with the art or not. It's the story's decent, and the camera work is pretty good. Look at these panels. We have a splash page reveals the true form of our big bad. The transitions to street level to Hulk. You know what I mean? Just like nice speed lines, nice composition there. Good rage face, and then transitions down here to that panel to something a little bit more cartoony. Like I said about R. Crumb, about that 70s style of underground independent comics. I really feel that here. Look at that, and like like this, especially in this panel here. You know, there's something like I appreciate that, and I see what they're doing here. Maybe this is supposed to be heady. It's supposed to be trippy. You know, in the legendary movie by Dennis Hopper from 1969, Easy Rider with Peter Fonda, Jack Nicholson, Dennis Hopper, about these, you know, two guys on motorcycles, you know, these two city guys representing this new American dream, cutting through the deep South on their motorcycles, and the bigotry that that they faced, that contributed to their ultimate demise. But there was a big scene where they took some bad acid in New Orleans with a couple of girls that they met, and the four of them really have a bad trip, and it's full of these crypts. Like, it starts in the graveyard among the crypts. So it's like I am getting a few different of these counterculture late 60s, early 70s vibes from this book. So although I don't really necessarily like the art the best, I still have plenty of great things to say about this floppy, which is Act 2 in a 3-act story, which I like. We talked about it earlier. We got Wolverine Sabretooth War Part 6. And as I was telling you about the split narrative and about the old mission back on Team X, that it was Victor and Logan, and that Victor's repurposing that memory to sucker Wolverine in. Look at this splash page. It's really cool. Great art. And it's all for... and look at this. I like these. Look at this ad page. Okay, this is ad space. And what's it for? It's an ad for Ultimate X-Men #1. And you know I love Peach Momoko. Give me some peach cobbler, some peach ice cream, and some Peach Momoko. Please. And... yeah, this is really good. Yeah. Star Wars meets Windu. Yeah, these are the ads that are in a floppy. We pay attention to this stuff. Oh, look at this. The Art of Marvel Storytelling. Online art cards by Proco. That's cool. Draw your lines heavier towards shadowed areas. See, this is great. I like that. Oh, that's really cool. But so yeah, these are the ads in a $4.99 Marvel ad magazine. That's one thing that we've okay. Gods. Huh? What? Yes, that's the pause button. But yeah, so Wolverine. This is 46, so there's only 4 more issues left. Okay, we got. This is a $4.99 magazine, and that's a house ad. If we had any cookies yet, any nope. Ultimate Spider-Man. Who is the Green Goblin? We already know. We were spoiled in that. Hey, look, another house ad. Another house ad. Mace Windu versus Jabba the Hutt's hit squad. It's true. And this is the Marvel artist storytelling, and this is Blood Hunt, 1 of 5. And yeah, and then the inside cover, Darth Maul. These are all Marvel house ads. There are no traditional advertisements for any kind of product, any durable good. You know, interesting. Very interesting. I mean, this is print publication. This is a periodical, a newsstand periodical. Wow. Has marketing completely given up? You always hear shit about like marketing rates. Well, that's kind of like an illusion. I guess they could always negotiate better rates. I guess. I mean, what is the medium? What's the product? What is the target audience? This is where I get off saying that comics, they lie to themselves. Well, but you only get those kind of advertisements in those big two funny books, in Marvel or DC, or used to. The last two books of the day are both from Image Comics. I'm not reading Void Rivals, but I'll tell you, I can't get enough of everything else. Duke, number 4 of 5, written by Joshua Williamson. Great art by Tom Riley. Jordi Belair, great coloring. And she's been everywhere, too. Look, that's the back cover. That's great. They're like that on all of them. Of course, nothing but house ads, because they're a small company. You know, they usually don't have product ads. But DC and Marvel Comics have always, traditionally, had product ads. Durable goods, toys, snack foods. You know, I like moodiness. I like, you know, pretty good panels. Storytelling, good. This is great use of the action figures, too, because this is a new universe. This is a fresh take on Duke. This is a fresh take on Baroness. Come on. And I'm also, you know, I go wild for Baroness and G.I. Joe, a real American hero as well. And we also have Local Man. Local Man is one of the best comics that might be flying under your radar. This mixes 1990s over-the-top image-style superheroics with paralleled to a quintessential now, where he got kicked off the team. He can't, for legal reasons, he can't use any of his superpowers or his superhero name because they're all trademarked, you know. But so now he wears just a simple ski mask, and he has garden tools, and with his skill set that he's a vigilante known as Local Man, because you know it says in the newspaper, Local Man saves bus of school children. Local Man this, Local Man that. Look at this cheesy cover. This is Inga. She's one of the main characters in this book. Is she a femme fatale? Is she a big bad? Would that be giving it away if I even said something like that? You know, and what is she wearing? She's wearing nothing but an apron. Well, she owns a diner. This woman will make you a sandwich and then give you all of her good lovin'. I mean, wow. Or is it some bad lovin'? Is it bad medicine? Your love is like bad medicine. Bad medicine is what I need. Whoa, check it out. Just like bad medicine. There ain't no doctor that can cure my disease. I've seen Bon Jovi twice. He brings out the chicks. He really does. But this was great. This is about a lot of... it's focused on the ladies of this Local Man universe. Special appearance by Witchblade. And it kind of takes look at that, Witchblade. Yeah, when was the last time you saw Witchblade in a comic book like this? Ain't that cool? I think that's fucking cool. And yeah, I'm in on Local Man. I like, yes, please. It's on my pull list, and it's worth it. This is a good show. This is a good book. This was $4.99, and this is a variant cover. See that 001? That means issue 1 because it's a one shot. So it's not issue 9. It's not issue 10. It's between, and it kind of like you need to know everything that came before this in order to really get what's going on. But so it says 2. That means that's the second cover. That this is a variant. This is one of the variant covers of the bad girls. And there's a cheesecakey thing. Yeah, so exactly. Really cool. And I really like this book a lot. And it's easy to get into. And yeah, here's your inside cover with your indicia. The indicia, for those at home, who just started tuning in, is the fine print, where you get like your volume number and your issue number and everything. I mean, there's no issue number. This is just the Bad Girl special. Issue 10 will be out later. And those are the books that we bought this week with our money that we earned at work, and then I went to my local comic book shop and bought them. I did. Let's see. Well, what's on the show notes? Oh, you want to go there? Okay. I called it The Irony of the Gaming Hubbub. And it's maybe a spiritual thing from yours truly, Reverend Sully, here on Easter Sunday. I mean, it's always a holy time of year for many different cultures. And this is the most current iteration. I mean, and to all the Christians out there, you know, God bless you. So I grew up Irish Catholic. And, but I believe in what I've come to believe. And I believe that we have a soul. I believe that we might even share. Our soul is just sharing. We're all sharing a splinter of God's soul. That's me being spiritual. But this is Reverend Sully on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, and maybe a sermon. And I'm going to sermonize about this thing, about the hubbub, about the gaming thing, man. I'm not a gamer. That is my PlayStation 4. I've had for, 9 years. Dust it every couple of years, too. You can hear the fan struggling when you do that. You buy a special screwdriver and you pop up the top and you take some canned air and just do that in a clean place and wear a face mask doing that. I'm an asthmatic. I'm allergic to dust. And that's my third PlayStation over the past 25 years. I had a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. I skipped 3, and I got a PS4. Before that, I had a Sega Genesis. Before that, I had an Atari 800 XL because I couldn't have the 2600 because it didn't have any educational value, and you had to give the smart kid something with educational value. And so I played Star Raiders and Pac-Man on the same kind of joystick. They just didn't have the library of software for the 800 XL. But I did learn Pigkin kind of basic, go to and run and make an AC penis looping on your TV when you're 10, 11 years old in 1984. You have a home computer. Yeah. So am I a gamer? No, not anymore. I mean, I kind of grew out of it, I think. I'm 51 years old. I still could be playing if I wanted to. I could get a Nintendo Switch and just play Mario Kart with people. I could do that. I could probably still find games, matches on this PS4 network of Star Wars Squadrons. I bought a flight stick for that shit. I did because I love Star Wars Squadrons so much. I was so into Star Wars Battlefront 2, the 2017 version for PS4. I used to play online all the time, hours and hours. I hate first-person shooter games. I've seen gun violence in my life. When I was 15, I watched a woman and her infant get gunned down in the middle of a street. It was a family matter over money, and the guy later shot himself. But still, that's my context with guns and gun violence. So I really don't like first-person shooters that much, but this was such an immersive Star Wars experience. I was part of the Clone Wars. I could play Clones and Clankers. Dude, it was just, the other eras were fine, and sure. I mean, but to play Clones and Clankers, that's just, you're playing in the Clone Wars. That was fun for me. It was very fulfilling and satisfying as a lifelong Star Wars fan. I was also a big fan of like the EA NHL hockey series, the Madden series, Triple Play Baseball, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You know what I mean? Does that make me a gamer? No, I don't identify as a gamer. Not like gamers do. Okay, I play video games. I love video games. You know, there are bunches of video games that I love. I mean, just I still like carry these two around. I love Dragon Ball Z fighting games. You know, just does that make me a gamer? I don't identify as a gamer. I wouldn't call myself a gamer. So I'm looking at the whole gamer hubbub like from the outside looking in. And that they were putting so much value on our outward qualities. And it's kind of just like the same thing that's been going on in all other like all other kind of pop cultures. Now it's the same things happening in gaming with like narrative consultants, and then there's racial tensions too. But in a game, you can be anyone you want to be. And also, you can, there's nothing more free as a human than to just be a gamer gaming on an online game. I can't comment to like the Call of Duty Battlefront lobby or any of that culture. I was not part of it. I don't know any. I only know about Gamergate what I know about, you know, what I've read and heard in my YouTube culture. But when it comes to gaming, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why. To whom is it? I understand the needs to be heard and to be respected and recognized. But when is that stuff weaponized and being pushed for cui bono? For who profits? It was so important. I wrote it down. Our soul, maybe the splinter of God's soul that we all share. I think that's non-binary. I don't think it's neither male nor female. I don't even think it's either both. I don't think it's hermaphroditic. I think it's beyond both male and female. And that it's also beyond the mortal life as well. It's this consciousness. It's this soul, this spark, the spirit that we have, what we consider our soul, our immortal soul, especially in the Christian mold, which I grew up on, or the same karma that will keep allowing you birth and rebirth in the Hindu mold, I believe in as well. That part of you is already non-binary. These are a major part of your humanity, that it coexists with whatever gender you identify with. But there is space for you within you that is already non-binary. And maybe realizing that, actualizing that, accessing that realization, that information, you know what I mean? To be one with that, to be like, oh, I can respect a non-binary state because I have within me a non-binary state. Interesting. I mean, because when you're online, you're in a game, you can be anyone you want to be, right? It's my little rolling table with my air. I have an air filter. I mean, I remember Star Wars Battlefront 1, you had this like, for 2015, you had this huge toggle of how I love when I can make an avatar that looks exactly like me, and to have this huge palette of how to reassemble a human that could look exactly like you. I found that in Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and I found that in Star Wars Battlefront 1, 2015. And it lacked this in Star Wars Battlefront 2 for some reason. You just had to go with stock skins and alien skins or human skins, you know. Sorry. I am gross. Yeah, that was gross. You are gross. We have this splinter of God's soul, our own soul. We share it with each other. We share with God. And there is that. So, and then once we also can respect that connectivity, that sameness, that oneness, that unity of perhaps sharing the same soul, with these little splinters of the same soul that we all have. Through there, we can also have more compassion, more empathy, and more unity, more inclusion, and more representation, especially when we see ourselves in the other person, and not in a punny, sexy kind of way. Yet, if you have a, you know, maybe go over there and ask her. Maybe she'll say yes. You'll never know until you do. But don't harass anyone. And but yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's my entire Twitter feed is filled with this virtual race battle, this virtual race war. And there's an irony to it because there's something, you can be anyone you want to be online when you can sort through, assemble these ones and zeros, this binary, into anything you want to be. You can be anyone you want to be. You mean I don't know. Is it lying or is it role playing? But you can be, and if it's tasteful and moral, shouldn't you have that freedom to be like, hey, let me express myself to live as a 20-year-old North Korean person struggling with their feelings of democracy. That takes empathy and that takes vision and that takes imagination, and but also realizing within yourself that you are that person. I remember the first time I started using chopsticks. I was on a date. I was on a first date with someone I ended up with for a while, and it was an Asian place. And I picked up my chopsticks, and I decided, hey kid, you believe in reincarnation. Somewhere down the line, you had to have been Asian a few dozen times, with all the human, all the the people in the world. And so I just picked up my chopsticks and started eating. And I didn't think about it. I never could ever use chopsticks successfully before that moment. But I believed in it, and I accessed that information, and I asked it, and I just did it. I picked up the chopsticks and I ate, and it impressed her too. That was nice. That's a story. But gamers, yeah, I mean, gosh, it's really, wow. I don't want to use the certain words too to describe because you'll get flagged on this our YouTube. But I wish the gamers all well, and peace sells, but who's buying? Trying to redefine someone's culture, someone's escapism space where you can be a bad guy and make bad guy decisions. It's we're trying to regulate stuff or thought and purity of there's so much to this. It's so pervasive too. It's so obnoxious. And the thing is, maybe you could sell more of these notions of yourself and of your ideology if you were a bit more likable. Why doesn't that cross your mind? How are you supposed to sell it to someone like me, a skeptic, by being unlikable? I mean, geez, whatever happened to that? I don't know. I don't have any answers. All I have are more questions, and that was on the list. That was in the show notes. Pika wanted me to talk about gaming and gamers and the whole gaming hubbub of what's going on out there with, you know, the narrative consultant agencies and the Twitter groups of people of color pushing back against what they appear to be some kind of, you know, kind of oppression, I guess. Yeah. All right. Let's hear them out. And we'll judge very fairly too. I mean, geez. But I just thought of but the whole thing we're judging over people's skin color and their genders, and you can be genderless, you can be colorless, anyone you want to be. I understand it's the real world value of the people involved behind the scenes, and the stories told with, you know. But when it comes to the avatar of your first person shooter, or of your skater, or of, like, you know, just your avatar, I mean, I like to make mine as close to looking like me as possible. EA, oh yeah, Tiger Woods golf. Oh gosh, to make a golfer that looked just like yourself. You know, that was I loved that. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, to make a skater that looked just like myself, and that you had all of these, you know, this infinite combination. In Star Trek, we have something called IDIC. It's a Vulcan thing, and it means in infinite diversity is infinite combination, and it's something I believe in more than I believe in the resurrection of the Lord on this very day in the Catholic manner. I mean, I don't really believe in Christianity. I respect it, and I grew up on it, and I'm knowledgeable about it. Yet I believe in a Hindu mode myself. That suits me. Well, it's Easter Sunday. Let's get to it. Thank you so very much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've come over from the Incel Cast, this is our twice a week comic book and pop culture show, The Comics Talk with Reverend Sully. And we usually do a 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern live show. Today has been pre-recorded because for the Sunday live stream show. Sorry about that, but it is Easter Sunday, and I am with family right now. But hopefully, you know, I was able to check in with the live chat as this was going on, and thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Smash that like button, and be here next week, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. We'll return to our live stream format, hopefully, unless I have a date or something. Well, thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.